Okay, this is Sam doing my video exam screen capture wise, so I can show you some examples of montages. To answer the first question, explain the process of pre-production. Pretty much, you start with an idea or a project proposal, which is just a summary used to promote or sell the project that you want to make. Um, Basically, just the idea of what it is and what you want to make. And then the premise of that is a concise or brief statement or assertion that sums up the story or subject matter, like why, what purpose does this serve, the conclusion, stuff like that. And then you get a synopsis, which is basically just a summary. It's like a short paragraph that describes basic storyline and theme and gives you an idea of where you're going with the whole idea. Then you have treatments, which is a detailed summary. It's pretty much like a super synopsis of plot, characters, specific scenes, how you're planning on capturing the material, like visual and audio references. And then you write scripts, which is, complete production guide on paper, like specifying what will be seen and what will be heard, scene direction, words, stuff like that. And then you get into script breakdowns, which is you break down a script to include listing equipment and personnel needs for each scene. And then production schedule, which is basically just your schedule or timeline of when every phase of production and pre-production and post-production is going to happen. So on Sunday, we'll write the script. On Tuesday, we'll shoot the movie. On Thursday, we'll edit it. Stuff like that. Then you make storyboards, which is a graphical representation of each scene, each shot of each scene. Uh, you get the idea. Usually drawn, stuff like that. And then you figure out your budget, which is obviously how much money you can spend on what to make the project work. Um, Pre-production is needed because if you don't go through all those steps, then you're really just pointing and shooting. You don't have like a plan. It's easy to screw up the whole process, go over budget without meaning to. Just you won't get as crisp of a product as you intend to if you don't go through the planning pre-production process. Um, how does pre-production relate to the other stages of production? Basically, it's you know, what I just said. You can't. It's harder to shoot if you don't know what scenes you're going for ahead of time. Basically, you just production can't happen without successful pre-production because you would waste time or just you just wouldn't get it done. So pre-production relates to the other stages of production because without it, you don't get to the point of production or post-production. The process of post-production, which is E here, you basically, put all your media into whatever software you're using to cut it together, whether that be Avid or Final Cut Pro or Premiere Pro, which is what I use, or even iMovie. And then with audio stuff, you can use Reaper or Audition, whatever. But basically, you get all your media into the appropriate places, and then you cut it up the way you want it to be cut, and you treat it the way you want it to be treated. Treated meaning like adding effects, filter, stuff like that. That's the basic post production stuff. Is you get the raw material and you make it into a product, a film or a short film or a TV show or even anything like that. It's basically just where you get it all in the appropriate sequence and then you distribute however you mean to distribute, uploading to YouTube like I'm about to do or cutting DVDs, whatever. And then you get into analytical montages. There's two types of those, but as an overview of what the analytical montage is, you basically analyze an event for its thematic and or structural elements, select the essential parts of it, and then put them or synthesize them into an intensified screen event, which is basically you just take the important parts and you scrunch them together to show a passage of time or something along those lines. There's two types. Sequential analytical is the first. It's condensing an event into its key developmental elements and presenting them in their original cause and effect sequence or natural progression. It tells a story in like a shorthand fashion, moving things. That way you don't spend, an hour watching something happen. So an example of that we went over in class is this Rocky 4 montage, which I'll turn on mute. Basically, you see Rocky, working out, doing his thing, as well as Drago working out and doing his thing, and basically you cover the entire process of Rocky training for this fight over a course of weeks or months or however long it is in the movie. But for us, it's 4 minutes and 13 seconds. That's what this sequential analytical montage is. We'll pause that. The other type is a sectional analytical. It's defined as temporarily stopping the progression of event and examining an isolated moment from several viewpoints. It carefully examines a significant section or specific moment of a scene and reveals the complexity of that event, internal intensity, emotional power, quality of the moment, whatever it is. And the example I have for you here, we'll go full screen. This is a brief shot from the third Matrix. And you see Neo punch Agent Smith in slow motion in a variety of different ways. So this is the super slow-mo all the way through, and then it cuts pretty quickly here in a sec to the same punch again and again and again. And then, ooh, it's over. So basically, you saw a montage of that critical punch in this fight all just over and over again. So that's a sectional analytical montage, a really short one, but still it is one. And then there's another type of montage called the idea associative montage. And the basic description of that type of montage is it juxtaposes, which means put next to each other, two seemingly disassociated events to create a third principal idea or concept. There are two types similar to analytical montage. The first one is a comparison montage. Consists of succeeding shots that juxtapose two thematically related events to express or reinforce a theme or basic idea. It compares similar themes from dissimilar events. So this is a pretty common thing. My example for you here, we'll turn off the noise. This is Assassin's Creed parkour comparison montage. Basically, you watch the video game of him doing parkour, and then you see the real-life version of this guy doing the same stuff. So they're different things, obviously, because one isn't real and it's set in the 1500s or whatever. Probably 1200s because it's the Crusades. And then, that's not even the 1200s. And then the real-life modern parkour stuff. I don't know why these keep freezing, but basically you get the gist. It's two similar events, or it's similar themes. Like the theme is parkour or MoveNet, whatever you want to call it. But to similar events in that this is just some dude running around town, and the other one was Altair from Assassin's Creed in the Crusades. And then the second type of montage is called a collision montage, or the second type of idea associative. It's a collision montage, which is you clash two different events to express or reinforce a basic idea or feeling, combining different images to generate a new idea. And this one's a little harder to find. My example is, it's not a video, but it's our audio project. It juxtaposes cooking and playing in a basketball game to get a similar theme of the noises and the feelings that go involved in both of those processes. So two completely unrelated things that generate a new idea. As you can check this out on our SoundCloud if you want. And then another one I found that's pretty similar is from 500 Days of Summer. It's two different events because one is expectations over here and the other is reality over here. And it's a montage of this guy's night as he goes through it. And it's two different, it's two completely different scenes, but since they're put next to each other in a montage like this, you generate the idea of the feeling they want you to get from reality not meeting expectations or expectations exceeding reality, whatever they want to go for. So you witness these two different scenes. This is a really good example, I think, because they are side by side exactly. And you can just hear, you can watch it for a minute.
Tom could be a really great architect if he wanted to be. That's unusual. I mean, what made you go from one to the other?
So as you can tell from this scene, the expectations are Tom and Summer hitting it off. Reality is him talking to some girl, validating his career choice, all that. And then it moves throughout the night, and Tom's expectations don't go the way he wants. Alone on the right, together on the left. So you get this feeling of these two different scenes really bring out the loneliness or the missed opportunities that the movie's going for. So this montage, I think, is really good in doing the collision because it's almost literally colliding these two different scenes together. So you guys pretty much get it. And that should about do it on the questions for this exam. Hopefully that recorded appropriately. Thank you for listening.